Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world, talking about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. All right, we talked about it, we thought about it, we wondered about it, and finally we got a little bit of an answer at the running back position. Running back was just a mess last year. Zeus White just didn't perform. Sincere McCormick didn't get a chance early. When he got healthy enough late and he played really well for a little bit, then he got hurt again. We had inconsistent production from Alexander Madison. Amir Abdullah was good when he was in, but he's just not an every down type of back that you can really place the running game on their shoulders. We needed an answer. We needed something, and we needed depth because Dylan Lobby just didn't show that he was ready to play last season. We needed something more in the running back position because Pete Carroll loves to run the football. Chip Kelly loves to run the football. I don't know who loves to run the football more, Pete Carroll or Chip Kelly. They both really love to run the football. And as a defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham loves when the offense runs the football as well. So there had to be an answer, and a little bit of an answer. The piece of the puzzle was put into place when we signed Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert was with Chip Kelly in Philadelphia and also with the Niners, so he's familiar with his system, and he's productive. He had a little bit of an off year last year, but it was more of a lingering injury in his chest. He had a fracture in his sternum the entire season, which that would take anybody down, but especially a running back that gets hit so much, you want to be able to keep them healthy. And I think Raheem Mostert is going to be a great change of pace and a veteran leader in that backfield who can give a little bit of the nuances on how to run the screen game and the draws and things like that Chip Kelly really likes to run. He sat down with Eddie Pascal for an interview, and let's take a look at it. But before we do, everyone, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It really helps this channel out a lot. It's a great way to support. It's absolutely free. And it really does help with the whole YouTube algorithm nonsense, but it does help, guys. So I want to make sure everyone please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. It's absolutely free, like I said. It's the absolute bare minimum you can do to support this channel besides doing absolutely nothing but watching the video, which I appreciate as well. Let's get on to it.
And an exciting day here in the facility as we're joined by the newest member of the Las Vegas Raiders, Raheem Mostert. Raheem, congratulations, man. An exciting day for you and the family. And I'll start right here. Big picture,
yeah.
What about this situation here in Vegas made sense for you at this point in your career?
Yeah, obviously opportunity is always good, right? And you got to go where the opportunity is calling. So for me, just being in this realm, being back in the West Coast, being a Raider now, I think that's the most important thing. This shield, that you're wearing, the shield that's on the hat, these logos and everything that a Raider stands for is something special. I've been a huge fan since I was a kid. Just seeing all the greats, right, that just went through here. I mean, I grew up watching Miami, and one of the special guys that I liked watching was Warren Sapp, when he came through, the Raider Nation. So it's just unbelievable, man. And I'm super excited about the opportunity. We have a great coaching staff. Pete Carroll is just, he called me right away, and we chopped it up, and he asked me, "Hey, are you ready to run the ball for me finally?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do this," and also obviously Chip Kelly. I started out my career with him out in the Eagles, so it's just a full circle moment for me.
You talk about that familiarity with Chip, and at this point, for someone like you who's played so much football, who's played so much high-level football, like, how important was it to have some level of familiarity with whatever your next place was going to be?
No, it's very important, but also with new change, also there has to be adjustments. There's going to be some adjustments that go on in this offense for me, and that's okay. I feel like I'm just a versatile style type of back. I'm not just a back that could just run in between the tackles, but I could also, jet sweeps or in motion and catch the ball out of the backfield or run routes. So, I'm multifaceted in so many different ways of the offense. And I feel like that's going to be a great opportunity here.
You talked about Pete, and I was just thinking about this when you were talking. Like, it feels like you guys probably kind of like circled each other for a little bit of time, right? Where you're in San Francisco, he's up in Seattle, both doing your things. But like, it must be exciting now to, one, like you said, have a chance to finally run the ball for Coach Carroll, but like also play for a dude who has been very clear from the jump. Like, you look at what he's done historically. Yeah. This is a guy who wants to run the football and do it effectively.
Yeah, he wants to run the football, wants to do it effectively, but also he's a guy that's, he wants players to play. He wants players to be at their best, and you could just see that. You know, I've had several conversation with guys that played for Seattle during the times that he was there, and all they kept talking about was, man, Pete is awesome. Like he's gonna get you to play for him. Like he's gonna get you to play for the organization, not just him, but for the whole team. And that's something that you want.
You know, I was just thinking about this. You're a dude who's a decade plus into the NFL now, like, and you talk about the excitement of playing for a guy like Pete, players coach, a guy who's going to bring the best out of you. Even a decade into the NFL, is it still important for you to have a coach who's like, hey man, we're going to get the best out of you? Like, I'm gonna be one of those guys that you're going to want to run through a brick wall for me.
Yeah, no, I mean that's what you want, and you have to have a no nonsense coach, and I feel like that's Pete. I feel like that's who he is, right? He seems nice and everything like that, but I feel like, you know, just by talking with other, you know, colleagues in the league, they have the same mentality. Pete is a no nonsense guy. He wants to get the best out of you, and he requires it because, you know, ultimately that's what helps drive a championship, you know, style team.
You know, it's so funny. I've asked a lot of people this question this offseason, but I haven't had a chance to ask a running back this question yet. When we kind of like zoom out, we look at big picture. You look around the NFL this year, what Saquon did, what Josh Jacobs did, what some of these other guys, you know, Derrick Henry, what some of these guys did in their new spots. Like, big picture, do we feel like the running back is back? It kind of feels like this position group is having a resurgence in 2024-25.
Yeah, I feel like it's making its track back, you know, to prominence that it once was. Obviously, it's going to take some time, but you know, with these guys that, you know, the past 2 years, and myself included, right, we've all done some unbelievable things, but I feel like it's on the up and up, and it's exciting to see that, you know, especially in a position that, you know, people don't really look at as being a powered position within an offense.
But and it's so interesting to me too, because like you're 100% right, where it feels like until as of late that people looked at the running back position like, you know, in a big you know, group, they looked at it a certain type of way. But then you look and the teams that have had success in December, in January, teams that are winning the Super Bowl, they could all run the football. Yeah. So from a running back, like, again, not to pat ourselves on the back too much, but like, what does an effective running game do for an offense in totality?
Yeah, I mean, you could just tell, you know, when there's no lanes opening up, everything works hand in hand. You know, the pass game works because of the run game. The run game works because of the pass game, and play action, right? All that is hand in hand, and it goes with each other. When you're dealing with a run game situation, you know, if somebody's running the ball good, you know, the defense has to shift in a way where they have to contain the run game. Well, that leaves opportunity for play action, and then play action opens up, you can go back to the run game, and then you go back to the run game, boom, you got your big plays down the field with pass, you know, so everything works hand in hand, and sometimes I feel like that's kind of misconstrued a little bit, you know, with the outside world not looking at it at a bigger scope.
You know, we look at a guy like you who, again, we heard it during your conference call a minute ago. You're kind of the exception to the rule in the best way now. A guy who's a decade plus into the NFL, a guy who stayed relatively healthy, a guy who's produced. Like, when you look back at the first couple of years of your career, like the early chapters, have you changed the way that you take care of your body, the way that you prepare, the way that you ensure that come game day that you're ready to rock?
Yeah. I mean, obviously with mother time, right, comes, you know, a different level of preparation. And for me, you know, I've figured out the preparation to beat all. I feel like, you know, just preparing myself during the off season, like early on in my career, I didn't necessarily take the steps in the off season. Like I worked, but work and then recovery. You know, that's one thing that I didn't really realize. And then now it's like, no, you need to work, recover. And then also your diet. My diet, you know, and you could ask my wife, before it used to be not so good. You know, now it's like it's a lot better. But you know, you're always gonna have get off the boat a little bit here and there and you know, enjoy a vacation or two. But that's just a part of the off season.
It's so interesting too, where you see, you talk to these guys that have been in the league for so long, and it feels like that's the number one thing they all bring up is just the diet.
Yeah.
Is the understanding of like, hey, what we're putting in the body to fuel us up, like that matters. Like,
Yeah.
that really has changed a lot for you over the years?
Yeah, it has, because like before I was putting, unleaded gas in
In the tank.
in my tank. But now it's like, look, you can't put unleaded gas in a Ferrari. Like you can't do that. Like you got to put the premium, the best of the best gas, and same thing with like a diesel truck, right? And for the old linemen, you gotta give those guys some diesel fuel. It's different levels to it. So.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that I find really interesting when you talk to people that have been in the league as long as you have, and we see the averages every year of like how short the average NFL career is. So when you come across these folks that have in many ways defied the odds, like I always find it really interesting. But before I let you go, Raheem, man, I'm just curious, like, you allowed yourself to kind of think about what that first game at Allegiant's going to be like, wearing the silver and black? I know it probably feels like a lifetime away from now, but like there's got to be. I mean, look. You dress for the part already,
Yeah.
so we're already in a great kind of beginning to this. But have you thought about what that first time's going to be like?
You know what? No, I haven't, because I've never played in the stadium, so I'm
Oh.
excited about the opportunity. And then secondly, I'm always wearing black. I feel like, and somewhat like white and silver, so I feel natural. And then today I tried my helmet on and looked in the mirror and I'm like, oh yeah, it's time to rock. It was that moment for me. So. I would have to say, like, being on the practice field with the guys, or even like just having that practice jersey, that's going to be a moment for me, just because, I know so much about this badge. I know so much about the shield that, I'm just excited to play.
Yeah, man, we're excited to have you here.
Yeah.
Just another exciting piece, and really what's been a really exciting offseason for this organization, for this team. We cannot wait to get rolling. We cannot wait to talk to you, get to learn a little bit more about you over the coming months. But enjoy the day, man. A big day for you and the family. Congratulations. We'll talk to you soon. All right,
Thank
brother?
you. I appreciate it, man. Hey, go Raiders. I love that saying now, man. Let's go.
All right. First off, we're going to put them up on Go Raiders. Okay. We're going to put them up on it's not Go Raiders. It's just Raiders. We're going to get him on that. It's okay. The feeling is there. He hasn't been a Raider for that long. Let's just cut him some slack, okay? I do love the fact that he felt at home with the Raiders helmet on. That's amazing. But a lot of good stuff here from Raheem Mostert. A lot of good stuff about talking about how he wants to be more than just a veteran presence in the backfield. He wants to go out there and produce. He talked a lot about how he played really well early in his career for Chip Kelly, and having a little bit of familiarity with the offense is going to do him well, I believe. But the main thing that I pulled from this interview was just his willingness and his eagerness to play, not only for Raider Nation, but for Pete Carroll specifically. You hear a little bit of a taste of what the players in the league are talking about and what they think about Pete Carroll. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. What players and people in general respect is honesty. Someone who's straightforward, honest, and who does what they say and says what they do. The thing that we talk about here is there's a lot of players out there that want to have a quote-unquote player's coach, and they don't know what a player's coach is until they actually play for one. I'm not the hugest John Gruden fan. I don't hate the guy, but he has been known to kind of say things to people's face and then say something else behind their back. That's not going to be Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's going to be very upfront with you. He's strict, he's direct, and he expects a lot, but he's fair with you. And that's one thing that a lot of players, I think, are going to really gravitate towards. And that's why a lot of players in the league love Pete Carroll, and they want to play for, if not Pete Carroll, someone like him. Just all around good stuff from Raheem Mostert. I'm really excited to have him. A guy with his experience, his explosiveness, and now who's healthy. I'm really looking forward to it, to see what he can do for us, Nation. All right, guys, thank you very much. That's my time for today. I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. It's a great way to support the channel. It's absolutely free, and honestly, it's the bare minimum you can do to help this channel grow besides doing absolutely nothing and just watching, which I do appreciate anyway. All right, guys, that's my time. Until next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.